there. Okay. Here is what we're going to cover today. I'll give you a brief overview of Turnitin and all its functionality. Maybe you're familiar with the similarity report and that's the only way you use it. So you'll learn everything today about what features are available to you. You will create a Turnitin submission link. You'll also attach a rubric, create a rubric, and then use it to mark a sample assignment. So you'll submit on behalf of a student. Then we'll open the similarity report and consider the ways in which you should use and interpret that similarity report, followed by the AI writing indicator. And we'll use that word very deliberately. It is just an indicator. It just flags areas of interest only. Then we'll spend quite a bit of time in the marking and feedback giving area on the sample assignment that you submitted. And just before the end, we'll show you the Turnitin Analytics dashboard. Maybe that's something that you're not familiar with. And by all means, because now we have so many more participants than when we first started, please use that chat function if you need to ask us any questions or, interrupt if you need technical help as well. I should also introduce just again briefly Shari, who's a learning designer, and Ailsa, who's the lead e-learning advisor here at UQ. So they're on hand to help us as well. Thanks, Ailsa. Okay, so what is Turnitin? It is a web-based assessment, submission, and feedback tool. One of the main features, of course, is the text matching software. And once this software does its magic, it then automatically sends the student a similarity report. It also has an AI writing indicator tool, although this has only been with us since about February last year. So it's only a year in its development and turned on in the UQ environment, so still quite new. There are so many online marking functions, including annotating on the student's text, creating comment banks, which are called quick marks in Turnitin, marking with a rubric, and also personalising your feedback with a voice comment, voice recording. Another feature which makes Turnitin one of the most popular all over the world is that there's so many file types that students can upload. Yes, PowerPoints, text files, documents, of course. And finally, the analytics dashboard is quite useful. We'll show you that at the end. So I just put the logo here so you recognize that logo when we add the submission link in Blackboard. It should be clear on the submission link, that blue box there with the arrow. So you need a few things ready for this workshop now. It's going to start getting very hands-on now. You need to open learn.uq.edu.au, aka Blackboard. Log in using your UQ staff username and password. And then please, I'll just exit that there. All right, so make sure you're in courses. Then in the search bar, just type in Turnitin. And your training site should appear. So it should have the numbers 0005 somewhere in the course code, and it should have also the wording Turnitin online workshop. Now, because of Ailsa and my access, we can see a million pop up. You should just see yours alone. So I'll just give you a second to make sure we're all on track there. Is everybody okay? Thanks, Gabriella, for your thumbs up. That's really helpful. Everybody else okay? Thanks, Caitlin. Thanks, Julia. Great. Awesome. So we seem to be having success. All right, I will carry on. Okay, I'm going to choose one all the way down the bottom. hopefully one that no one else has jumped into. Okay, so if you've clicked on that course, you can see your classic announcement, as most students see when they enter their Blackboard course. On the left is a learning resources menu item and also the assessment item. Can everybody click on that? And now you should see that the template has filled all this information for you. And you have, according to Italy's recommendations for all course coordinators, you should have your assessment summary table from your course profile right at the top, front and center. And then you should have 2 or more assessment folders. So it's very easy for students to find which assessment and which folder is holding all the information. So we're going to deal with assessment 1 today, because this is the one in the template that is a Turnitin submission. Can everyone now click on assessment 1? Now, this is templated for you to show you a model. So at the top, we have, just checking the chat here. Tim, do you need to go back? Oh, yeah, I see you're commenting on the words. Great. And Elsa just said, please message Elsa if you can't get in. Thanks, Elsa. All right, so at the top, we've got this model Turnitin submission link. So you can clearly see that logo icon there and see all this text here. That should be in the description field always for any Turnitin submission link. So we're going to create that very soon. So just leave it on that page for a minute. So we've logged in and now we're going to create a submission link. We're going to work through all the settings. Now the settings are in 2 places, in the Turnitin external tool environment and also back on Blackboard. So we'll be looking at the settings in both places. So in Turnitin, we will do this in learn.uq. We'll come back after we make the submission link. We'll check the description field and a couple of other settings. So it basically goes like this. Build content, choose Turnitin. We'll jump into Turnitin. We'll do all the settings. Then thirdly, we'll come back to Blackboard, check that the link opens in a new window. We'll check Grade Center and we'll fill in that description field as well. Okay, here we go. So build content, find Turnitin in the list, and everyone should be doing this in their training site. So I'm going to click on Turnitin. You can do the same. And you will automatically go to a new tab. So just trust that everything's working properly there. So the first thing we really want to think about is your meaningful, searchable assignment title. Make sure this matches the wording on your course profile and your assessment folder title back in Blackboard. So I'm going to call this assignment 1, critical film analysis. And then I'm going to write in caps, so it's super clear to the students that this is only a submission link to get to the portal in order to submit their assessment. Okay, now we want to think about the points possible. Points possible is the wording in Blackboard. In Turnitin, the wording is max grade. And we're going to think about your dates. Elsa and I strongly accord on this point that it is easier if you leave this at 100, and regardless of your marking scheme, you can adjust it by a weighted column back in, or your final grade column back in Grade Center later. However, some course coordinators prefer their students to see the exact weighting for this course. So if you want, you could change that to 40, for example, if your assessment is indeed out of 40 points and worth 40% of your total grade. So put in a max grade there. And now let's think about your dates. Consider whether your students or whether your course design demands that your students learn essential skills before you open this assessment. Or if you don't care that students can submit on this from day one, you could make this the 19th of February, which is the start of semester. So I'll just do that for practice sake. You click on the calendar, it will open up, click on the date, and then down here in the middle is a clock icon. So that's where you can say it will open at, for example, 9 a.m. Why is that not changing? Oh, I've still got it at midnight. Let me use this instead.
I don't find that tool very easy to use. I tend to just edit the time myself.
Yeah, okay. So you can click in and edit it, as Elsa said. All right, now we come to the due date. Now there is a setting later, I'll show you, where you can enable late submissions. And of course, in Grade Centre, you will see who has submitted late. So this due date is exactly that, the date that the student should submit by before there are penalties applied for lateness. I've got a couple of dates here for you ready to go. For example, if you wanted an assignment submitted the day before mid-semester break, which is the Thursday before Easter, that is the 28th of March. End of semester 1 classes is the 25th of May. So let's practice now. I'm going to make this the one before Easter, the one before mid-semester break. So I'm going to put the 28th of March. And I'll come in here, as Elsa suggested, and change this to 5 p.m, I think. So there's the due date. And we've got one more date to think about, which is when the students receive their grade and can see all your feedback and comments. So our recommendation is, for your own sanity, especially if you've got hundreds and hundreds of students and, you know, a few markers as well, why don't you put this date as the very end of semester? And then as you finish marking and you know all your markers are done, then you can come in and edit it to release the feedback. So the end of semester classes is the 25th of May, or the beginning of the central exam period is the 1st of June. I'm going to make mine the May date, and then if I need to, I will come back in and move it. That's right at the end, so I'm not even going to bother changing the time. All right, can I have a thumbs up? How's everyone going with the dates? Everyone okay? Thanks, Julia. Cool. All right. This is helpful, having a much smaller group, I must say, because we had so many booked in, so that's super. Thank you, everyone. Okay, now we're going to go to the optional settings that look like this. So let me go back into my Turnitin assignment, and down here, can everyone see this cog and it says optional settings? Can you please click on that to expand them all? Okay, here we go. We definitely need the standard paper repository, which is the full database that Turnitin has access to trawl to match. We want late submissions enabled. We're going to come back to the rubric, but for now, can you make sure it's checked? And let's now scroll down to the similarity report settings. Okay, so let's check that we want to generate the similarity reports. And in fact, it's UQ policy that you give students this opportunity to view the report and a chance to resubmit. So there are 3 options here. You need to pick the middle one, that students can see their reports immediately and they can keep resubmitting until the due date. We don't need this one. Now, just a little, it's not a warning, it's just, please be aware that students can see the report immediately for the first 3 submissions. If they resubmit a 4th time, the system will not allow them to see the report until 24 hours have passed. But that's very unlikely. Yes, UQ policy demands we allow students to see the reports. We also advise you to leave these 3 here unchecked. It may mean that you get a slightly inflated percentage score for the proportion of matching, but that's okay. You can filter when you're marking to remove it. And as long as you understand why the percentage is the way it is, that's okay. Okay, we also recommend that you tell the text matching software to compare against the student paper database, web content, and academic periodicals, journals, other publications. So please leave those 3 on. Now, if your particular submission type that the students are submitting is a report, some sort of text, and then it's got lots of tabled information, something that's got lots of headings and subheadings, like a business case, we ask you to consider uploading a template. Now, this template should be available to the students beforehand on their Blackboard site, and it will give them the structure with which to fill in for their submission. And that way, all of the text in that template will be automatically excluded from the similarity report, and your percentage matching will be more accurate. So now we get to do a really active thing here. In the resources folder that we sent you yesterday, but I'm going to put it in the chat again now. So this is the first time we have to access that resources folder. There is a template, and I want you to have a go at uploading the template. So just give me a second while I put it in the chat again for you. And feel free to click on upload the template if you've got it there ready to go, or choose one of your own from your own assessments. That's fine as well. Follow your nose and see what happens from the student perspective. And Elsa's just made a comment here. Please make sure also in all your communications with students and in the assessment folder that the students know about the settings that you've established for this assignment. Okay, I'm just attaching the file now. So I'm attaching a zip file here. It says resources 2. You got one that just said resources yesterday, but that doesn't matter. Make sure you've extracted those and you've saved them somewhere, or they're easily accessible in your downloads folder. Okay, I'll just check in with you in a second. I'll just model this to show you what happens. So I'm going to click on this template here, which is in your resources folder. I'm going to open to attach it here. Okay. All right, can I get a thumbs up? Has everyone been successful at attaching a template? Great. Okay, just keep annoying Elsa and Shari if anyone needs any help. Okay, now the last thing I want to point out is that if you are a repeat course coordinator for one course, by all means, save these settings for future use so you don't have to keep thinking about them. But we do have the guides ready, you know, anytime as well. Okay, I'm going to uncheck that for my case, and I'm going to click submit. Can everyone now click submit so you can see what happens? We'll be going back in very shortly. So everyone should see this success tab. And now you can, excuse me while I get my spotlight so everyone knows where I'm up to, you can close this one. It was a completely new tab, so just get rid of it and come back to your Blackboard. Now remember, this one at the top here was here as a sample only. Yours, oh damn it, mine's gone to a different one, which is not helpful. That's okay, I'm sure you'll understand me. Yours will have appeared all the way at the bottom of the page. So I'm sorry, I must have a learn.uq tab open on another window, I beg your pardon. So can everyone just assure me that yes, their Turnitin submission that they just created is at the bottom?
Has everyone refreshed the page?
Thanks, Julia. I'll just give you a second to find it. It should be at the bottom, and I'm sorry
Sorry, can everyone refresh the page?
Thanks, Alicia. Okay. Okay, so as Elsa said, if you couldn't see it, please refresh, and I'll do the same now. I'll go back into assessment, go into my critical film analysis, and now, as Elsa has suggested, it appears at the bottom. Okay, don't forget you are within your Assessment 1 folder at the moment. So our recommendation again is that you drag this one all the way to the top of the page so students can see it first when they enter the assessment folder. So can everybody do that now? Now, don't worry that it says adaptive release. We'll deal with that in a second. And we'll get rid of that. Okay, the first thing we're going to do, so we did the settings in Turnitin. Now we're going to edit a couple of settings much easier in the Blackboard environment. Just before we go in, can everybody copy this description field text? This is very important. We owe the students this important information if they have trouble submitting to Turnitin or if they have a technical issue. So if you've copied that, now go to the one you just created. Don't click on it, click on the drop-down arrow next to it and click Edit. So I'm going to do that, and I'll just wait if anyone needs a hand. Okay, seems to be okay. Oh, thanks guys for keeping the thumbs up. That's really helpful. All right, in the description field, we need to paste in. So I just use Control V then to paste in that really important generic information if they need some help. The due date has come across from the Turnitin LTI. Now, if you recall from my other bulleted list, we want to make sure that the Turnitin submission area opens in a new window. So please put that to yes. Of course, you need your students to view this content because they need to complete their assessment. And don't worry about these dates. They are merely the dates that conduct when the submission link appears. So these dates are related to the actual submission link, not their actual assessment completion. And you already put the dates in Turnitin for the due date and the feedback release. Okay, I'm going to click submit. Okay, now my colleague Helen told me yesterday, this is a little bit of an annoying thing that happens here. Does everyone else have adaptive release showing on theirs as well? Yeah, okay. And I might need Elsa to guide me. But if you click on that drop-down arrow again and go to that adaptive release, you may want that there, but in most cases you won't. So we're going to uncheck that, just get rid of it and click submit. And now it's gone and it will be available according to the dates you set in Turnitin. I hope everyone's okay. Okay, we have now created your first, or maybe some of you have done this many times, I don't know, your first Turnitin submission link. We've done all the required settings in the Turnitin environment and in Blackboard. Now we want to look at the rubric. So now click directly on the submission link. Oh, sorry, just got an itchy spot. Okay, when you first enter, excuse me, let me get rid of this. When you first enter the Turnitin area, now that you've created the link, you will first come into the assignment inbox here. All the way over on the right is the cog icon, which of course is the worldwide generic icon for the settings. So can everyone click on that cog icon and all your preset settings will appear. Click on the optional settings again. And now we're going to focus heavily on the rubric. Okay, why, from the e-learning and the learning design perspective, why do we focus on rubrics in this workshop? Let me just move along here. If you're using Turnitin and it's a long response form of assessment, like an essay or a long report, you do need to use criterion referenced assessment. Not only will the students understand better your expectations as a marker for content and quality, but it will enhance reliability and consistency across your marking team. Also, the research shows that it reduces the students' queries. And if you're using the Turnitin online marking features, students will make that direct correlation because visibly they're close to each other between the criteria, your comments, and their text that you're going to annotate while you're marking. So all of this will help to reduce student queries about their results. There are 3 rubric types in Turnitin. The percentage one is most commonly used at UQ. You can also customize it a bit further and change the marks within each cell, or you can have a very sort of open qualitative one called a grading form. So let's look at all of them now. Okay, back in your Turnitin window, notice I'm just flipping between my Blackboard tab and my Turnitin tab. So now we're going to click here, which is Launch Rubric Manager. Can everyone just type in the chat if you do have an assessment that you need to use a rubric in? Can everyone just write yes in the chat? Cool. All right. Of course, in ALSA and my job, we meet regularly with course coordinators and markers one-on-one. So we get to see their rubrics in a PDF or a Word document. So we're regularly helping them put these on Turnitin. Okay, so now everyone should be looking at the rubric manager. Welcome, Lynn, if you can just follow along for now. At the bottom, can I just make it bigger for you? Sorry about that. Oh dear, that's not working well. I've got the annotation tool on. 1 second. Oh, there we go. All right, let me make it bigger. Okay, so right at the bottom, we've got, can you see there's a percentage option right at the bottom? This one is the customized, and this one is a grading form, which we don't want to use. So we're going to go up here to the top left menu icon, which looks like 3 lines. And don't worry about all these other rubrics that have auto-populated. They are provided by Turnitin just as guides, models, I guess. And below that line there are all the rubrics and forms that I myself have created. It's really important to understand that when you make a rubric in Turnitin, you are the owner. If you want to share that rubric or get someone else's rubric, you will have to follow the import and export option up here. We don't suggest creating a rubric in an Excel spreadsheet, for example, and importing it. The formatting has to be so exact and so calibrated that sometimes it's not worth the fiddly effort. But if a colleague has a rubric already in Turnitin that you want to use, the import and export function is there, and that is a .rbc file. I'll just write that in the chat so I know what I'm saying. So it's a I beg your pardon. .rbc is the file extension. All right, so we're not importing, exporting today. We are creating a new rubric. So please click on Create New Rubric. Enter the name. Assignment 1, Critical Film Analysis again. And what's happened here? Can everyone see what's happened? There is a character limitation. So in this case, I'm going to go back and call it A1 Critical Film Analysis. So there's nothing we can do about that. That's a Turnitin decision. We just have to work within those parameters. Okay, now you need to access the resources folder that was sent to you before, or it's in the chat. Okay. Right, has everyone been able to get that resources folder up again? Where is mine? Too many screens open, I'm sorry. Let me just find mine underneath a window somewhere here. Where is it? No, maybe behind all your lovely faces. Yes, that's where it is. Okay. So on your in your resources folder, you have this document, which is the Critical Film Analysis Marking Criteria. So can everyone open that? Elsa, I wonder if you wouldn't mind putting that one in the chat for Lynn, because I don't think she'd have that in the chat from before.
All right, I'll do that.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm now going to put that Word document on my other screen. but I hope everyone's got it there. And we're now going to work on getting that information into our new rubric. Now, I understand it's at this point a lot of markers and course coordinators say, oh, really, haven't we got an import option? And all we can do is encourage you, once you get the hang of it and you get in the flow, it's not too bad. And of course, once you've done it once, then it's done forever. So we just encourage you to put a little bit of effort in at the beginning. Now, you'll notice that template that we've provided for you only has 3 criteria. So we want to get rid of criterion 4. Can everyone see that if you just hover your mouse over criterion 4, a small grey bin appears in the bottom left corner? So you can delete that final criterion. So I'm going to do that now. Are you sure you want to delete? Yes. So now we have 3. I'm just going to work with my criteria here on the left. The first one is critical understanding. Because of Turnitin's character limitation, I'm only going to fit 1 keyword there. So I'm going to put the main noun, which is understanding, and underneath, don't worry, you can put a much longer descriptor here. So I've seen many rubrics that are, 2-3 sentences long, and that's okay. You can fill in here. Obviously now, I'm just going to follow my nose from the Word document and write critical understanding. Now, critical understanding is worth half of this assessment. So I'm going to put the weighting as well next to that criterion. By the way, I'll give you a chance for a mini break very soon. All right, criterion 2 is supporting evidence. Because of the character limitation, I'll write evidence there and supporting evidence in this field. It is worth 40%. Criterion 3 is about the writing itself. Quality of writing. And it is the least weighted. So I need to put 10 there. Just checking the chat. Thanks, Elsa. All right. Also, everyone, please notice down here, it says 100%. So all of those should add up to 100%. If it doesn't add up to 100%, the system will not allow you to save it and it'll give you a warning. So check that as well.
Ruth, could you also point out where the other 3 rubric options are, the other 2 rubric options, just so everyone's aware?
Oh, yes. So here.
Yeah.
So that we're working on a percentage one at the moment. The middle one, you will be able to not only add weightings here, but also in each cell, you can customize the number that the student gets for that one. And then finally, the 0 one, let me just change my color here. The 0 one is a subjective qualitative grading form where you can type into the cell. Let me get rid of all that mess.
No, sorry, the subjective one won't give you any marks. It'll total. It's just information.
Yes. So, oh, sorry. So you're typing information. Yes, I should say.
Well, you're selecting from rubric.
From the ones that you...
There's no mark. Yeah, there's no marking or totaling.
Thanks, Elsa. All right, so we have now completed the criteria column, and now we're going to worry about the performance levels, or in Turnitin, the language is scale. So according to the template that we've provided, we're going to put in 8 columns. We've only got 3. So over here in the top right corner is a plus button. Can you add the other one? Yes, 5. Now, we're not going to do all of this in the workshop. We'll all fall asleep. Let's just do a couple for practice only, and then we're going to save it, even though it'll be incomplete. So working from left to right. Now, some people would put here a word like perfect, well, not perfect, sorry, that is a very bad example, exemplary, or without fault, something like that. But in our case, we're going to put 7+ and stick to the university grading scale. So that would be 100%. The next one is a 7, which is a 90. Let me just get them in and then we can talk about it. And I also need to talk about percentages in Turnitin as well, but just hold your thoughts for now. That's a 5, 74 is 57. There's a slider at the bottom, so I'm moving over. 3 is 47%. 2 is 37%. And 1 is 15%. Okay, how are we going? Fantastic. All right. Now, as you know, UQ has a 7-point scale, but across each faculty and in fact each school, there are quite a large number of variations with where the boundaries exist for the percentages within those scales from 1 to 7. So Elsa and I are just providing for you a very common rubric that we see a lot. And Turnitin does not have percentage ranges. If your particular assignment and your school policy demands that you use range marking for it within the percentage boundary, then you need to use a Blackboard rubric. So when you use a Turnitin percentage rubric, we advise... Yes, Elsa?
Yeah, they can't be using a Blackboard rubric. So just use your Turnitin rubric. The other option is a grading form, but yeah.
Okay.
If you mark everything in Blackboard, yeah.
Okay, all right, I got it. So if you're using Turnitin, you'll have to stick with these midpoint percentages. Is that what you're saying, Elsa?
Yeah, if you really want to use mark ranges, there is a grading form that will just let you enter the mark for each criteria.
Okay.
But yeah, set all your assignment up in Turnitin.
Okay.
And we strongly recommend against double submission. We do know there is a school asking for it. There has been issues with that. It was an appeal by a student about that. It went all the way to the Senate a few years ago. So please do not do double submission. Ask the students to do double submission.
Okay, now you can probably guess what's coming next. Then it's just a matter of copying and pasting the text from each cell into the correct cell here. Now, as I said, we're not going to do all of this because we'll all go to sleep. So I'm going to put in the first 2 and maybe a couple here as well. So can you just practice that while I'm showing it on screen as well? Take your time. Etc. I'll do 2 more. Sorry, I'm looking at 2 different screens, not at you at the moment. So we only have time to show you this percentage one today, but at least it gives you some practice while Elsa and I are here with, you know, filling in the fields, making sure it's adding to 100, etc. But as Elsa keeps reminding us, don't forget you can customize it further in this middle one here. And if you need to be more honed and specific with your marks, you could use the grading form, which is here. Okay.
That's a qualitative rubric that doesn't do any scoring. The grading form, if you go up to the top left, is another option there.
Okay, I'll just save this one before I lose it. Can everyone go ahead and save? Hopefully you've all been successful at filling in a couple of the fields. So I've saved that. And then where Elsa has just instructed us to see that you can make a grading form as well. If you keep going down here, you will see that my A1 critical film analysis now populates in my list of rubrics that I own and I've created. So can everyone see that new rubric now in their list? Hopefully. Thanks, Bonnie. Thanks, Julia. Super. All right, so you have now successfully created a submission link and a rubric. You've got all your settings organised, both in Turnitin and in the Blackboard environment. And we're getting very close to having a little break. Thank you for your patience, everyone. And of course, all these slides will be sent to you after the session, along with links to all of our guides as well. Okay, now we're going to submit an assignment on behalf of a student. Oh, I'm sorry, where are you guys up to? So you saved your rubric and you're probably back on this page. If you've saved your rubric now, you'll have to submit again to make sure it's saved in there. I beg your pardon. Everybody's okay? All right, I'll hit submit. And I'm just going to exit out of mine so we get into the habit of coming in the right way all the time. Okay, now we're ready to submit on behalf of a student. Remember, we put our link at the top. And just a little reminder, ordinarily you wouldn't have two Turnitin submission links. There are rare occasions, and maybe Elsa can talk to this as well, where there's a part A and a part B to a single assessment where there might appear two, but it is rare. Do you need to comment on that, Elsa? No. Okay. All right. Let's click into it again, and I'll show you how to submit a student essay or text or whatever. So when you click on it, you're taken to the external tool, and the first thing you come to is the assignment inbox. Don't forget to get to the settings. They're all the way over here on the right, but we don't want to bother with that now. So our tech team has already put 3 imaginary students in your training site for you. So to test that all this works and to see all the functionality, we're going to submit on behalf of a student. So click there, choose a student, select continue. And now just think about what a student is experiencing at the moment. So this is exactly what the student sees now. So in this case, we're going to upload from our device. So we go to choose file. And hopefully now that you've been digging in and out of the resources folder enough, it will come up automatically. And I don't mind if you click student A or student B. I think I'll click student B. If you don't have a student B, that's fine. The one in the chat should have the student B. So I'm going to put that in there. The student then will have a chance to review the submission. Again, depending on your instructions on Blackboard, you might want to specify they must put their name here. So there's a lot to think about. Oh dear, my submission could not be processed. Let's try a different one. It's always good to see a fail in these workshops. I've got no idea. Is everyone else's working? Feel free to unmute. Thanks, Bonnie. So this is what it should look like. I just did this morning in practice. So that's what it should look like if you've stepped through all those steps on behalf of a student. And of course, what you should see is the student gets a chance to review.
Sorry,
yes.
Ruth, and can you just quickly show you, are you sure you got the right link? That would be my tip. Have you got the is anyone trying to use the old link instead of the new one? That would be my tip to check.
Yeah, okay. I thought I put mine at the top, but that's okay. I can try again.
And can you also just quickly show again just show where that on behalf of the student is?
Yeah, up here. Yeah. So when you come into the inbox, it's right up the top, all students. We'll talk about groups later, but here's where you can find a group. And submit on behalf of student is on the right. Okay, I'm going to try again here.
Oh, Alicia said it could be because of the date. You've got the date as the start of semester, but you're wanting to do it today.
Ah, right. Yeah, true. Okay.
My big tip is I never change that start date. I just leave it always.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Look, for time, because we've just come up to the hour mark, I'm going to carry on. But what I wanted to say was the only thing you missed on my screen was the student gets a chance to review the paper, and then they get a successful notification, or yes, your submission is complete, something like that. So as long as you see that from the student perspective, that's okay. You can close that pop-up window and you'll come back to your assignment inbox where you can see the submission has happened. Now, if you used our submission, I'm aware some of you may have just chosen to use a random essay you've got on your computer. That's okay as well. But if you used our submission, we just want to make you aware that we have populated that text with a paragraph from the news, so ABC Online News, just in. We've also put in that Word document a paragraph from Wikipedia, from a website, and even a paragraph that was produced by generative AI. And of course, we've done this purposefully so you can see what happens in the similarity report. And on the PowerPoint, when you get this, you'll see that snip as well, just to remind you where to submit. Okay, let's have a look then. Let's just click into a student paper. So if everyone's ready, you can click into a student paper here or over here where the similarity report has already done its work. So I'm going to click here. And you can see the student text is on the left. I'll just scroll down. All right, that's quite long. On the right, you can see several panels available to you. At the top is the marking, feedback, and rubric area. We're going to deal with that after the little break. This middle part here, which is red, is the similarity report. So we're going to have a look at that as soon as we get back from a little break. And then at the bottom is the AI writing indicator in the blue. So I'm going to click here on the number 17, which is the percentage of matching. So the similarity report has been done, and it reports to you that 17% of this paper matches text already in their database. Okay, at that point, guys, I'm just going to get you to have a little break, but during the break, it'd be great if you could just start looking at some of those options in that red area. So we were in that red area. So if you can start having a look, just fiddling around, don't worry, you can't hurt anything, you're only in a training site. Maybe go and have a look if you want to submit on behalf of another student as well. You just need a little bit of time to digest what's happening there. So I'm just going to pause the recording for like only 2 or 3 minutes. That's all you'll get, sorry, as far as a break, and then we'll reconvene. Okay, can I see a sign of life, anybody? Cheers. Thanks, Lynn and Julia. All right, this is where we're up to. We've looked at the overall functionality. We've created the link in Blackboard. We've gone into Turnitin to do all the settings. Oh, and now my PowerPoint's died. That's helpful. You can't, is that black for you guys? Mine's just gone totally black.
Yeah, black. That's weird.
Yeah, let me refresh it. I might just have to come in again though. That's all right. Okay, 1 second, guys. Thanks for your patience. Remember all those stressful days when the pandemic first hit us and we were all learning how to do all this? Okay, let me zoom ahead to the right slide. Okay, hopefully you had a chance to look at some of the options available to you in the similarity report, but now we need to think about how to approach it and how to interpret it, not only from Turnitin's advice, but our own as well, being a higher education institution. So, oh my God, that went black again, didn't it? That's okay. We have a backup over here, which is in the form of a PowerPoint. So excuse me while I will have to keep swapping backwards and forwards between screens, but that's okay if you're patient with me. Okay, can everyone see my PowerPoint now?
Yes.
Cool. All right. We like to take this opportunity to remind you that text matching is simply that, and that's okay. If a student is using ideas and words from another person or another source and they are present in their own work, that is okay. And in fact, it is an expectation that students reference, that they draw from the existing literature and research. The problem, of course, occurs when this happens without proper acknowledgement, credit, or attribution of those images, data, sources of text, etc. So all Turnitin is doing the text matching. So when you enter your assignment inbox, as we've just shown you, you will see the list of students, you will see if they've submitted, you'll see the similarity percentage. The colour coding it's not indicative of plagiarism at all. It's just telling you the proportion of text that matches something in the database. And there's the color coding ranges, just for your quick reference. So when you look at the Turnitin report, the percentage is by no means an indicator of plagiarism. And this is a image that my colleagues have created, and now we use it over and over again because it's a good reminder. The one on the left has plagiarism. The one on the right, with the much higher percentage score, does not have plagiarism. And all of these examples of text matching are perfectly acceptable. So please be aware of that. Okay, now let's spend a little bit of time in your, excuse me while I'm going all over the place with, now that I've lost my Turnitin on the screen, I've got to be careful. All right, so let's look at this. Now that we've understood again, we've just reminded ourselves what plagiarism means. Let's have a look at the similarity report while we're marking. So here is a student's text. If I click on this source on the right, the student's text will jump to it immediately, and it will show that this text was already submitted to the University of Queensland. So you can investigate much further. Did you see I clicked on that little box, and then it brings up the full source on the right. So you can flip backwards and forwards between investigating the highlighted areas on the student text, or using this percentage score here and going using the arrows, etc., to investigate further. Underneath the number is the list of all the sources that Turnitin has matched against. Underneath that list is a filter or a funnel icon. The funnel icon is where you can apply more settings. Now, do you remember in the overall settings, we didn't check to exclude bibliographic entries or quotes, but you can do it in situ while you're marking if you need to. There's just one more thing I want to point out here. The flag here, and in fact, I'll just go to a different student paper. Was that B? This one maybe. Oh, sorry. That's okay. I'll just explain anyway. The flag here does not match text. The flag indicates that the student has used nefarious means to mess with the formatting of the document. They might have used white text on white background. They might have used hidden characters. They might have used special characters to try to throw the system so that the system doesn't match. So those flags are important, especially if you've got lots of students from non-English speaking backgrounds. They often are more aware of these, but I don't like to assume that at all. It's just from the stats. So that is a quick overview and a quick look at the similarity report. Is everybody okay? So you're looking at the student text, you're looking at highlighted areas of the student's text. You can investigate the sources further here. You can open up the full list. Okay, cool. All right, so the next thing we'd like to look at is the AI writing indicator. And I appreciate your patience while my web-based version of my PowerPoint is not working. So at the moment, the Turnitin AI writing indicator, can everybody see it there underneath in the blue, which I'm circling in green? That's helpful if you're colourblind, I'm sorry. Now, it is an indicator only. Turnitin claims to have 98% confidence based on their data collection. I think Elsa will agree with me that we're not convinced by this 98%, but that's according to their data. You need to know, this is really important, that the AI writing detection tool is not scanning lists, any bulleted information, tabled information, non-sentence structures like captions under an image, for example. So the AI writing tool is not even looking at this. It's only prose text that it is analysing. If it highlights an area of interest, so let me come back here and click on this particular student's AI writing indicator here. It will take you to a web-based version, but for now I'm going to stay here. Where was I? Too many things open. Normally they appear in blue, and I'm not sure why mine's not appearing in blue, because there's too much here overladen, I guess. That's okay, let's stay here. Normally it will appear in blue. All it's doing is flagging what Turnitin calls is an area of interest. So then it's our job to go and investigate the area of interest. Other things to look for are if the reference doesn't seem right. Like, as the discipline expert, you know the literature and the corpus of research very well. So if you can see a strange name with a strange date in the bibliographic entries, that's a red flag. If there are inaccuracies in the data, even though the text looks great, the AI report might not pick it up. So yes, you will have to investigate further and follow the normal channels according to UQ policy, which is raise the issue with an integrity officer in your school or faculty.
Can I just jump in?
Please.
Just really this, and there's a good video case study from KK from economics, which I assume you'll send later. Just use the AI indicator basically as a filter. I think KK's recommendation is he had a look at his whole cohort of 500, and there was 5 students with really high scores, and he used that indicator to pick which assessments to do a deep dive on. And then he found like arguments that didn't make sense, references that didn't exist. So it's more of a filter of which assessments to have a bit of a deep dive on.
Okay. Can I just make myself a note? I'll make sure I send that as well. Okay, this is the last slide I've got on the AI writing indicator. I think it's helpful to know that students can't see it. It's only visible to the instructor. Remember, it only scans the prose text. And the way the model works, or the software works, is it's scanning sentence by sentence and then comparing that sentence with the previous sentence to generate a scale from 0 to 1. So 0 is totally human and 1 is AI generated. So that's how it's working in the background. All right, we don't want to spend a lot of time there. We want you to be working away in this workshop in Turnitin. So let's go ahead to marking. There are really good features in Turnitin. I think we all in our team quite like sharing these features. You can do in-text comments, bubble comments. You can make your own comment bank. You can even record a little audio. We'll open your rubric again and practice marking with it. And Elsa and I will probably mention about the best practice if you have a group assignment that needs a similarity report. So let's get into it. Sorry, I'll have to change my share again. Thanks for your patience. All right. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at is how to mark by, and I'm just going to come to a different assignment. Sorry, I'm going to come to this one. So it doesn't matter what assignment you've uploaded or whether you've used ours from the resources folder, it doesn't matter. So the first thing we want to show you is the marking area is up here. The top one is the quick marks or the comment bank. So you see when I've clicked there, the quick marks have come up. The second one is the feedback and annotation area. And the third one is the rubric. We're going to deal with the middle one first. So I'm going to click there where it says feedback summary and just wait for everyone. Is everyone or does everyone have an assignment submission open, and has everyone clicked on feedback summary? Thanks, Gabriella. Cool, Tarlin. Super. All right, you can click anywhere on the text. Don't press, don't highlight, don't do anything. Just click on the student's text. I'm going to click on this citation here, and it will reveal 3 options. Everyone choose the T for text. And you can write a very suitable reference here. Okay, you can write a text entry. You can move that to wherever you want. And now I'm, there. As soon as those 4 arrows appear, you can move it slightly. So can everyone just practice now, just clicking anywhere? Click on the T. This linker is overused in your essay. Click on moving it around so it's not in the way. I'll just slide down a bit. You can see this student has a big problem here, which we'll talk about soon. Okay, hopefully everyone has now practiced using the text comment inline. The next one we're going to look at is the bubble comment. So click again, and this time choose the middle one, which looks like a speech bubble. This one, you can provide more detail. You've got some rich content editing options, bolding, italics, underlined. You can even add a link, say to the APA reference guide from the library, for example, to a dictionary reference, a resource in the library, whatever. So I'm going to say this paragraph requires more work. The marking expectation was for some da-da-da-da-da. I won't finish it. Can we remind you from a good teaching and learning standpoint, always refer back to your marking criteria and the expectations that the student should already understand from the assignment. You can also attach this comment and relate it directly to the marking rubric. So I'm going to attach this comment to criterion 2. Now, hopefully yours doesn't say criterion 2, it says something like evidence or critiquing or whatever the case may be. Hopefully everybody's okay. Let me go ahead and put in a link as well, just to show you how it works. Click there, here's the link URL. Okay. And I'll click away. So here it is here. You can see, actually, did you notice now there's all those boxes there? So all those boxes mean that the student should be able to see this comment is specifically related to one criterion, which will explain their result. Okay, has everyone done a couple or one bubble comment at least? Good. All right, and of course you do get faster at it. I used to mark a lot of the pathway students' academic English essays. And of course I was doing thousands of them. So, you know, you do get a lot faster at it as well. Another way you can really make this more streamlined for yourself is by creating the quick marks or the comment banks. So this was a text comment. This is a bubble comment. The one on the left is a quick marks or comment banks. So if I click on that one, it will bring a pop-up window and I can choose a quick mark set. So I'm going to choose, oh, I don't know. I forget what's in mine, sorry, but I'll just choose mine for now. Unfortunately, I've only got 3. All right, and then I'm going to just click on incorrect referencing. So it has automatically put in that quick mark. So amongst your marking team, you might choose to develop a set of quick marks to keep in this rubric, and everyone can access them as they're marking, and that will save time as well. So let me show you how to do that very quickly. You will have to experiment with this later.
Ruth,
Yes,
Ruth,
Elsa.
can we quickly do the highlighting?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
sure. Okay, yes. If I highlight, I did say it was annotation and then I forgot. Thanks, Elsa. So can everyone now just drag your mouse across a portion of the text like you're highlighting a Word document? And you can see it does give you one other option, which is a strike through. Now, of course, my suggestion is if you're going to strike through a person's text, then you need to give a reason, unnecessary reference or whatever, to explain to the students why you've done that. And I'll just do it again. So highlight, you could put a quick mark there, you could do a bubble comment, or you can do a strike through. Okay, now let's look at the quick.
Can you show the bubble comment and that you can move?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Like that?
Yeah.
So here's an earlier bubble comment. Because if your annotation gets really messy, that line is useful to make the right connection for the students. Yeah. I don't know why that one's not doing the line. Because that one I didn't highlight. But if you highlight and do a bubble comment, then you can connect it. All right, if you do choose to make quick marks, here is the area up here in which you can work in the quick marks. Go to the cog icon. So the cog is that generic icon for settings. Sets, individual quick marks. So these 3 dots, I'm sorry, here will allow you to make a new comment bank. It's a really good academic and teaching and learning process, actually, to get with a bunch of markers and create that quick mark set. So if I click there, I'd be able to give it a title and then choose quick marks to put into that set. So I'll let you play around with that at your own leisure. You can just make an individual quick mark as well. So notice I clicked there and then this field comes up as well to, you know, to populate what the quick mark is. I'll just go back here again. So at the moment, I have this particular quick mark set selected. Of course, I can choose another one.
Sorry, Ruth, could you go through how to create a quick mark in your?
Yeah, I'll come back here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so let's call this A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, assessment 3, comments, something like that. I will submit. Can anyone see it? Yes, here. And I did actually want to explain as well. Can you see how ABCD1234 has a pen icon there? And so does the one that's labeled as my name, because those ones I created, so I have the power to edit them. But these ones are all either provided generically by the system or someone else has authored them, so I can't edit them. So I'll go back into, where was that one? This one. Edit. Oh, I can only edit the name there. I'm sorry. Click away from it. Is there anything else I should show there, Elsa?
Yeah, you need to add a comment to that set. So I think if you've got that set selected.
Yes.
Yeah, and you do a quick mark at the top.
Quick mark, yes.
And you put in the description's actually the comment.
Yeah. So the demonstration of knowledge high or something like that. Yes.
And the title's just an abbreviation, and that's what will show to the students of what the comment's about. Yeah. And just note it's listing what set it's going into.
Yes, here.
Which you could have changed what set it went into.
So, and I can add it to another set here.
Yeah, so I suggest everyone has a go at making them, because a lot of people find it confusing that between the title and the description, but the description is actually the comment. The title's just how you find the comment.
Okay. Actually, I might come back in there. Can I just come back here, Elsa? If I do that and choose a quick mark, I see. And then you can select whichever set it is, that one. And then I've got that one to choose from. So there's, as Elsa said, there's the title in that blue. And then if they click on that, they'll see the descriptor. I'll just come back in here again. So I'm going into the cog. And quick mark. I'll just do one more. Referencing. Appropriate choice and formatting. And it's going into quick marks, ABCD 1, 2, 3 there. I guess that's because I've got it highlighted here. Is that right, Elsa?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if I'd highlighted a different one here, it would appear here.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll submit again. And you can see now that number has changed to 2. Okay, I am aware of the time. Shall we keep going?
Yes.
All right. Yep, I'll close that. All right, sorry, I have to open my PowerPoint again, and the sharing has become awkward now because of that technical fail. So 1 second. All right, here we go. I think we've lost one person. All right, if you're going to use these marking tools, the text comments, the bubble, the quick marks, etc., we have some free advice for you here. Use the text functionality for short and positive feedback. And there's some examples. And don't please give feedback that is so general, it doesn't give any action points. So ask yourself logical questions as you're providing feedback. For example, if you say a point that they've made is unclear, well, from the student's perspective, it's logical to ask, well, why is it unclear and how can I improve this? If you use the comment bubble, remember, this is the one you can connect to a criterion and you can use rich content editing there. Use this one to make more detailed feedback that requires students to rethink or rework something, or even go and visit something, because you can provide a link there. Maintain simple and respectful language. So avoid things like, that's a terrible link. You know. When you're using the overall feedback area on the right, and let's have a look at that soon, but I'll just finish this PowerPoint slide. Please use the generic overall feedback panel on the right to be more general and provide the overview. And always make it more personal, so you can have an ending like, I hope you can use these comments to improve your work, best wishes, etc., or even write the student's name in that area. Some of my colleagues like to also suggest, if you find yourself writing the same thing over and over again, you know, keep it on a spreadsheet and then just use it to copy and paste in. So you'll find that for all the distinction students, you'll find you're often repeating yourself. So that's a little tip there. Okay, I just need to flip out of there again, and let's have a look now at that overall comment area. So we dealt with all the in-text comments. Now we're looking at the overall feedback area on the right. So on the right here is the feedback summary. You can write text in here. Well done, buddy. This was a well-planned essay. All the best. Of course, I'm writing this very quickly for you in the interest of time and the context that we're in. But if you can, always refer back to your marking criteria throughout. And here is the voice comment area. Please be aware that it is one take. You can do it many, many times, but you can't edit it. So you can't, slice it and fix it later. You have to just do it in one sitting. And then if you make a mistake, you'll have to start from the very beginning. And it's only up to 3 minutes long. In my experience, students love this and they always listen to it because it is personal. Okay, I hope that has revealed to you some more of the features that are available to you in Turnitin for marking online. And can someone just give me a thumbs up that I'm back on my my contents page here? Thanks, Caitlin. All right. So this is where we're up to in our workshop this afternoon. We've only got about 20 minutes left. So now we want to take you through the Turnitin Analytics dashboard and highlight what support we have available for you and what's going to follow up this workshop today. In Turnitin, and because I want to avoid my screen flipping, I wonder if you guys could have your Turnitin submission open and go back to your assignment inbox. Next to your assignment inbox is another tab called Analytics. So if everyone can click on that. All right. So you have some really useful information here, and I'm aware as course coordinators, markers, lecturers, you don't have a lot of time. So sometimes this dashboard is good for a quick snapshot. You will be able to see in quadrant number 1 here, or portion number 1, when students submitted, when were the heaviest periods of submission according to the date. So you can see the blue is up to the due date and the red is after the due date. In the second portion of my screen, You can see here the average similarity score was 8%. And then it shows you, remember the color coding? Blue was almost nothing, green up to 25%. Then there was a yellow, an orange, and a red. So red was 75 to 100%. So in this example, none of the papers submitted had that high percentage. Then taking all of those similarity reports into consideration, the system also gives you a snapshot of the types of sources that are most being commonly matched in the database. So in this case, you can see submitted works is the highest at 6%. So it's mostly other student papers that are being matched against. Just checking the chat. Oh yeah, Alicia, cheers. All right, in the fourth area, you can see the number of submissions and resubmissions. Now, of course, Ailsa and I are often working in training sites or our own showcase sites, so our data won't be as meaningful as yours, but it's my expectation you'd have a load of resubmits as well. The fifth one is whether students have viewed their feedback. I must admit, if I was in your shoes, I'd be interested in this one because you're taking a lot of time to give that feedback. And, you know, for the student's own futures, academic and professional, looking at that feedback and learning from it is very important from our view. So that's sort of the top half of your screen. Hopefully you're looking at your analytics dashboard right now. And it's all making sense. At the bottom half of that analytics dashboard is the grading report. So it says here, online grading report. And you can see, you can choose, you can toggle between whether it's the rubric and form or what was the other one? Or can someone quickly do it for me, seeing as I don't want to flick my screen off? What's the other one under that arrow? We'll see if you're paying attention or not. It just escapes me at the moment. So I might go back to my internet page in a minute. Quick marks. Thanks, Caitlin. Yes, quick marks. All right. So if you're on the rubric form, you can see the number of... Actually, Elsa, would you mind explaining this?
Hold it.
Doesn't help. I'm not on the internet at this point.
Rubric form, numeric. It's basically how many comments per criteria, I think.
That's right. Okay, cool. All right. So in this particular rubric, they didn't use numbers. They had text entry at the top of their headings. That's right. So it's the number of times. Yeah. I think that's all we need to say there, unless anyone has any questions. I'll just change my screen again to get back to the internet. So assignment inbox, that one's no use to us. Let's do this one. So here's the analytics on this one live, which doesn't help you much because it's not useful data given the fact we're in a workshop situation. All right. And the last thing we want to share with you today is that another part of, beg your pardon, another part of Turnitin that we don't deal with this in this workshop is Authenticate. And this is the text matching tool available for higher degree by research candidates. So this is an essential step before publication to check for originality and to check all their citations, etc. Similar to the similarity report we've already looked at today, it compares documents to an extensive database of web pages, and in the same way, it produces a similarity score and report. Now, we're not looking at that in today's workshop, but there are guides available for staff and HDR students.
Can I just jump in? The main thing to remember with Authenticate is we do still find people using Turnitin for their research papers. You should not be using Turnitin for your research papers. Please use Authenticate. The danger is with Turnitin, you don't choose the right setting and it ends up in the database before it's published.
Okay. Yep. Okay, that's good. We might finish about 10 minutes ahead of schedule. So can I just remind everyone that we have a staff eLearning help desk, and they will take care of any technical issues that you may experience. The best way to get in touch with them and your issue will be queued is via that email, help@eLearning. If it's a really urgent thing, like you're in the middle of assignment submissions or in the middle of an in-class quiz or something that's summative, please use urgent in the subject line so the team knows to deal with it really quickly. And we work very closely with that team. We have lots of workshops available normally. Now, at the moment, we're in the middle of Ready to Teach, so we're very focused here. But that web page there, elearning.uq, blah, 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 /workshops, that will start populating again with workshops to come soon. There's also custom workshops available, so please get in touch with us if you'd like something more faculty specific or assignment specific and need some help. Please get in touch with our team via this bookings link if you require one-on-one help with Turnitin or any tool for that matter. That's our main bread and butter, I guess. We're always meeting with people and happy to do so one-on-one. We provide a lot of time to give that, bespoke assistance to academics. And finally, and from this web page, eLearning, and then the guides, I will be sending you the list of the specific guides that relate to the workshop content today, that relate to Turnitin, the similarity report, etc., creating the submission link. So you've got all of them in the follow-up email. So I really appreciate your time. I think you'll be glad that we're finishing 10 minutes early. And I apologise that online version of my PowerPoint went black, because that certainly threw me a little bit. So I appreciate your patience and understanding. And to Miranda, Caitlin, Gabriella and Bonnie, who are still with me, really nice to have you here. And I wish you all the best with semester 1 with your Turnitin use. I'll just stop that sharing and I'll stop the recording now. Thanks, Miranda, for your comment there. And if anyone's got any other issues or anything they want to add, you can contact us.